Brian Price says he's a piece of the puzzle. Another big piece of the puzzle as he walks down to the bullpen to get ready for this, his first Major League game. The left-hander, Cody Reed. Today, he'll start in the second game of this three-game series. Reds and the Astros here on Fox Sports Ohio. And hi, everyone, and welcome once again to Reds Baseball, along with Chris Walsh and Jim Day. I'm Jim Kelch, and what a day this is for Reds Baseball here in Houston. Really, there were folks who said he should have made the team out of spring training. He should have been up here last July when he was acquired from Kansas City. But, Chris, once he put up those numbers in spring out in Arizona, everybody was waiting for the arrival of this left-hander.
Oh, you're right. I mean, he's the one guy, I think, that when you're talking about the trade the Reds made before Johnny Cueto last year from Kansas City, the one player we didn't really get a look at very much was Cody Reed until spring training when he really came on the scene. He's pitched outstanding baseball in AAA this year. He's a top 100 Major League prospect for the first time in his career. And, boy, he is really on his way up. He's got a put-away slider, as you see right there. That could be a main pitch for him as he faces the Astros this afternoon.
Well, he's 23 years old. He won 6 games at AAA, and he comes up here to make the start against his Houston club. And here's what he did while down at Louisville.
Well, very good. I mean, he started off last year in AA when he first came over to the Reds. This year in AAA, 11 starts overall. He's pitched some really good baseball. I talked to Ted Power, his AAA coach, about him. And, you know, what he likes about Reed the most is he doesn't talk about the fastball or the slider or the developing changeup, but his tenacity on the mound. He's a real gamer out there, and you just can't get enough of those.
Well, his mound opponent today, you talk about a tough way to start a career, is the reigning American League Cy Young Award winner in Dallas Keuchel, although this year, much different than when it went last year for him.
Well, last year, obviously, when you win the Cy Young Award, he also led the league in the most innings pitched. This year, he comes into this ball game leading the league in the most hits allowed. Something's off with Dallas Keuchel this year. Could be a little bit of a tick less on his fastball than he had last year. Could be that he's getting the ball up just a hair, just enough for opposing hitters to see him and be able to put that ball in play. We'll see if the Reds go about him today, because this guy keeps the ball down a lot, and you've got to make him bring it up to at least knee-high if you're going to get that ball elevated to do some damage. All
right, the Reds were a winner in extra innings here last night. Try to get it done here today with a left-hander, Cody Reed, making his Major League debut. We'll take a break. When we come back, speaking of Cody Reed, what's the deal with the glasses? Jim Day will explain. Deep in the left field corner, that's where this shot comes from. Of course, you can see overhead the roof closed for the middle game of this three-game series here in hot, humid Houston. The Reds and the Astros. Brian Price trying to make it 6 consecutive wins here in Houston for Cincinnati. They, of course, won those 3 straight in 13. One here last night, one prior to that in 12. And here's the lineup card he puts out this afternoon. Zach Cozart will lead off at short. Then Votto DHs for the first time in his career. Then Phillips at second. Bruce in right. Duvall in left. Suarez at third. Bottom 3 include Hamilton in center. DeJesus at first. Barnhart catching. And on the mound for Houston, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, lefty Dallas Keuchel.
Keuchel is a left-hander, but he's not an overpowering left-hander. He gets his strikeouts with a lot of movement. He throws a cutter, a slider, and mostly a sinking fastball. Look for him to stay at the knees or below. That's his MO pretty much, and it's been a good one for him.
He's ready. So is Cozart. First pitch misses low, and we are underway from Houston, Texas. Keuchel 3-9 on the year with a 5.54 ERA.
The biggest thing really for the Reds to concentrate on today offensively is make Keuchel bring the ball up. Last year he was among the leaders in all of Major Leagues of having hitters chase the ball out of the zone. And 90% of the time, that out-of-the-zone chase is a pitch that's down. Looks like it's at the knees, but by the time it gets to the plate, it's down and out of the zone. He's worked himself in a 3-0 count.
It's a strike in there, according to Vic Carapazza, our home plate umpire. Cozart has led off each of the last 2 games for the Reds with a base hit, trying to do the same here. He yanks that ball foul, and the count goes full. Zach at 282 with 9 home runs. Driven in 26. And there's his career numbers against the Astros. Last night in the game, 2 out of 4, including an RBI. Hard hit, but handled by Danny Wirth down at third. That's the way this game starts. Take a look at the Astros defensive setup, brought to you by your Ford dealers. A little different look from last night. They have Jake Marisnick out in left field today. Gomez in center, Springer out in right. Danny Wirth had just handled that ground ball, gets the start at third. Correa, Altuve, the Keystone combination. Gonzalez at first, the battery of Keuchel and Castro. Here's Joey Votto, DHing for the first time in his career. He was asked down to the clubhouse prior to the game if he had DH'd before by a newspaper writer. And he goes, yeah, I'm sure I have, but point in fact, he has not. First time he's ever DH'd. At 248 with 11 long ones, 36 batted in. I would guess these games here and then the 2 after the off day Monday in Arlington against the Rangers gives Brian Price an opportunity to give these guys, in effect, a half day off.
And it also gives him a chance to put some of the extra players into game action, like Ivan De Jesus playing first today.
So Jesus getting the start at first base. It's only the second time in his career he has started at first base. The other time was in August last year in Pittsburgh, also for the Reds. He has played an inning of first base this year against the Cardinals. Back on the last homestand. Votto last night, he hit 1 for 4, reached base also on a walk, so his on base streak now stands at 18 in a row. Phillips waiting on deck. Reds have never faced Keuchel before. As we talk about him being the reigning Cy Young Award winner, 20-8 a year ago with a 2.48 ERA. He threw a career high 232 innings, struck out a career high 216. That does not include his very good postseason work. He was the starter and winner in the wild card game at New York, 6 shutout innings in that one, and the starter and winner in Game 3 of the division series against Kansas City when he allowed 1 run in 7 innings. As we say, this year, much different for Dallas Keuchel. One of the bigger notes, he was 15-0 at home last year with a sub-2 ERA, a 1.46. 15-0 this year, 1-3 here with an ERA approaching 5. Call against Votto by Carapazza, and Joey lets him know that he disagrees.
If there's anything Joey Votto hates more than anything else is having the bat taken out of his hand on a pitch that he's convinced is not a strike, and I'm with him on that. I think this pitch is a high pitch. Our box tracks may show that up there, but remember that the strike zone defined at the very top is the halfway point between the belt and the shoulders as the hitter takes his swing, and when Votto swings, that pitch is up and out of the zone, despite the Fox tracks.
So Keuchel gets the first 2, now deals with Brandon Phillips. 2 men out, nobody on. Phillips hitless last night. In fact, he was the only starter of the Reds who did not get a hit. He was 0 for 4. Comes in at 259.
You can really see the darting, sinking movement of the Dallas Keuchel fastball. He doesn't overpower it. He's going to top out, actually, right around 90 miles an hour. A lot of his pitches are going to be between 87 and 89 miles an hour, but it's movement and location that he relies on.
Wirth gets a second chance. Long throw right on the money. Phillips is out, and the Reds go in order in the first against the lefty Keuchel. And here he comes, making his big league debut, Cody Reed. He is, of course, the second of the 3 Kansas City products, now a member of the Reds organization that the Reds acquired from the Royals in the Johnny Cueto deal last July. Last night, We saw the lefty Lamb today, the lefty Reed tomorrow, the lefty Finnegan. But this is the guy today that's making his major league debut. And I just asked you, Chris, it's got to be hard to get control of your emotions when you go out there like this for the first time.
You know, the good thing is for Cody Reed, he has been one of those top prospects for a long time. So he's garnered a lot of attention. He's pitched under the microscope a lot. People are expecting him to be up there, but that doesn't nonetheless really change the way he has to do what you just said, which is control his emotions. This first inning is very important. First batter important, because at that point you realize if you can get through the first inning, it's just baseball. But until that time, you got a lot of emotions going on.
First big league pitch, a fastball. It's low and outside a ball. They throw that ball out of play. Save that for the 23-year-old native of Memphis. He gets George Springer to lead it off. Second pitch, same as the first. Out of the zone. 2 balls and no strikes. In the pregame, you and Cowboy talked about his ability to throw a very good slider.
Well, he's got to establish his fastball first, but his slider is a swing and miss pitch. And he gives you a little bit of a different arm angle than a lot of left-handers. I mean, the Reds got 3 lefties in exchange for Cueto, each one of them dramatically different. Not only in the style that they pitch, but where their arm slots are and the way they go about their business.
He's fallen behind the leadoff man here, 3-1. Break there, and it looked like it was low, and Springer swung at it. Now a full count.
So early in his minor league career, Reed had some control problems, and young left-handers often do, especially hard-throwing left-handers. But he was able to really quell a lot of those fears this year by being around the zone, cut his walks way down, and that's the other reason why he's here right now.
Misses for ball 4, so he walks the leadoff man here in the bottom of inning number 1. This year at Louisville, talking about walks, 17 walks, 64 2/3. That's pretty much under control.
Not a great move to the plate for Reed if you're thinking maybe possible running game here today for the Houston Astros. But for a big guy, and he is big and tall, he is very quick to the plate. Compact, doesn't lift his leg up real high, doesn't hang it out there at all.
You'll get Marwin Gonzalez now with the leadoff man on. DeJesus holding the runner over there at first base. We mentioned he's getting the start at first today with Votto DHing. Springer, 4 steals, 10 attempts this year. Gonzalez at .250 with 4 home runs. And it's hit high and deep into left field, and the Astros have taken the early lead. Marwin Gonzalez, number 5 for the first baseman of the Astros. They jump in front 2-0.
Just cuts right into the hot zone of Marwin Gonzalez. He's got a little bit of a high leg kick, and he drops the hammer on that one.
Snuck it inside the foul pole. Up by the Crawford boxes out there in left field. 2-0 Houston lead here in inning number 1. Batter is Jose Altuve. Reed jumps ahead. Altuve hitless last night. His 7-game hitting streak ended. He still comes in 3rd in the league in hitting at .342. Let's send one into center, and Hamilton will make the play on this. And that's the first out here in the bottom of the first. Here's the rest of that Houston lineup. We've seen Springer, Gonzalez, and Altuve. Middle is Carlos Correa batting cleanup. Carlos Gomez in the 5 spot. Danny Wirth 6. Evan Gattis 7. Castro the catcher 8. And Jake Marisnick batting ninth, playing left field. Here's Correa, shortstop. Hit that home run ball last night that tied the game. Came against Blake Wood. It came in the 8th inning. Talked about the fact that it ended that long home run drought of Blake Wood. 63 innings he had gone since he had given up a home run, and it was the man at the plate now, Correa, who ended it. He had not given up a home run, Blake Wood, since the 8th of August 2011 while pitching for Kansas City. He did it at Tampa Bay. Casey Kochman hit it. That's the first strikeout of Reed's career as he gets Carlos Correa. 2 men out.
Carlos Correa gets an up close and personal look at that slider that Cody Reed has developed over the years. It is a biting pitch. If you start at the middle of the plate, it'll end up near the back foot of a right-handed hitter, and that is a tough pitch. Even if he puts the wood to it, he's not going to keep it fair.
So the walk, the home run to the first two, fly out and the strikeout the next two. Here's Carlos Gomez, the center fielder, with 2 out and the bases empty. Gomez at .210, 3 home runs, 12 runs batted in. He jumps ahead here, 0-2.
Yeah, here's a guy that you kind of want to stay away from if possible. You don't want to have that fastball cut back across the plate and go right into the swing zone of Gomez.
Charging at Suarez, and the inning is over. So Cody Reed settles down after the 2-run homer by Marwin Gonzalez through 1, 2-0 Houston. Well, as a reminder, in this afternoon's game, we are participating in the Home Run Challenge to benefit prostate cancer research. So far, after 5 days this week, $1,700,000 has been raised. You can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org. 1 home run today, 1 home run yesterday in this series, both coming off bats of the Astros. Carlos Correa yesterday, Marwin Gonzalez today. Here's one who could send one into the seats from the Reds side. Jay Bruce breaks his bat, floats one out into center, and that will fall for a base hit. So Jay Bruce continues his good hitting ways against what he calls his hometown team, the Astros.
Now a breaking ball and a big curveball. You're not going to see a whole lot of those out of Dallas Keuchel. He has kind of limited the amount of the times he uses that, saves him for left-handers, and Bruce is able to get a base hit. So you just may see Keuchel pocket that pitch the rest of the day. Some pitchers are like that.
Bruce now has hit in 12 in a row against Houston and 9 in a row down here at Minute Maid Park.
And as soon as I say he's going to pocket it, he throws another one. So scratch that comment.
Duvall 2 for 5 last night, 262 overall, with the team leading 19 home runs, and that puts him second in the National League.
One of the things that can help you as a hitter when you face a pitcher like Dallas Keuchel is that you can look at one part of the zone, which is down. If he starts pitching up, it takes him way out of his comfort zone. But as you look down, you have to be careful not to chase stuff too far down.
Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. And this guy is a big ground ball guy, isn't he?
No doubt about it. I mean, last year that number was even higher, was in the 60s. This year at about 59%, second in the American League. Lots of ground ball double plays. One reason why he's had a lot of runners on base this year.
That's a foul tip that's hung on to by Castro, and so Duval becomes the first out of the second.
I'm wondering if maybe Dallas and Brent Strom as pitching coach are going to develop maybe a little different strategy in this ball game against the Reds. This is the third curveball in this inning that we've seen, and in the last ball game that he pitched, he threw very few curveballs overall. So maybe they're just trying to change things up a little bit to stay one ahead of the guessers.
Keuchel making his second home start of the month. His last two times out at Texas and at Tampa Bay didn't go well at all. He gave up a total of 8 runs and 12 in the third. He's trying to win for the first time since the 28th of May.
Well, Suarez is a good low ball hitter, but the key again is to make him bring it up to at least hittable area. And he's got a good hitting count here on a 2-0 count. No guarantee he's getting a fastball here, though, not from a Cy Young Award winner.
He had a tough night in the field last night, but he did come up with that big RBI double off the wall in the left field corner in the 11th inning. Broke the 2-2 tie. Then he scored on the squeeze bunt by Ramon Cabrera later in the 11th. Bruce is running. That ball hit up the middle and into center. Jale turned the corner and ended up at third. And a nice piece of hitting there. Suarez singled it through the shift, sending Bruce over to third base. First and third with one out.
And he still had a good hitter's count, Suarez did, and he's able to hit this ball with a little bit of an overspin. Altuve is coming over to cover the bag from second base, can't get to it. Looked like Keuchel almost alligator armed that ball and let it go through, thinking that maybe there was a defender back there. Freddie Benavidez better put a leash on him down there. He almost got nabbed on the backside.
So here now is Billy Hamilton. Reds try to get on the scoreboard here in the top of the second. Billy comes into this game hitting just 200 with runners in scoring position. Last night, the Reds went 0 for 7 in RZIP situations, and they're now 0 for their last 14.
When it comes to trying to control the running game, Dallas Keuchel's done a great job, but the one thing that he simply does not do is throw to first base. He has only thrown over to first base with a runner on this year 2 times all year long.
What would be the theory behind that?
Well, I mean, because he's got a very quick move to the plate. He doesn't want to show anybody that he's got a bad move. And Billy better run fast.
Altuve, Correa, Gonzalez, and the inning comes to an end. Take a look at the Reds defensively, brought to you by your Ford dealers. I line up like this in the outfield: Duval, Hamilton, and Bruce. Infield is Suarez, Cozart, Phillips, and DeJesus, making this his second career big league start at first. Reed being caught by Tucker Barnhart this afternoon. There's DeJesus. We mentioned earlier he started that game early August last year in Pittsburgh. His first big league start at first. Another one today. Ball ripped out to right center field by Danny Worth. Going to go to the deep part of right center. He's going to end up with a double on the first pitch of the bottom of the second.
Danny Worth doesn't waste much time right there by putting the good wood to it.
Two hits in this game for the Astros, both extra base hits. The home run by Gonzalez, the double now by Danny Worth, who's just been up here a week or so. Toward the middle, Cozart will cut it off. Evan Gattis is out, but it does move the runner along, and now Worth is at third with one out. played a couple of years of junior college baseball at Northwest Mississippi Community College after coming out of high school. Drafted, signed by Kansas City after being taken in the second round in 2013. Final one of the three acquired in the Cueto deal that makes it to the big leagues, but he really opened eyes when he came over from Kansas City last year and went to Double-A Pensacola. He had been pitching at A-ball and Double-A in the Royals organization. Had made 5 starts at Northwest Arkansas for Kansas City's Double-A team and had a 3.45. But when he came to Pensacola, he made 8 starts down there and had an ERA of 2.17. And that's when people really started to sit up and take notice about this guy.
And they really thought from the very get-go that he was one of the key guys to that trade. Just remarkable as you look back on it how much the Reds were able to get in return for essentially a rental player in Johnny Cueto. A good rental player, but still only a player that the Kansas City Royals had half the year. But as it turned out, the Royals got their World Series ring. Cueto went on to riches in San Francisco, and the Reds end up with 3 southpaws.
And they're all in the rotation now, and they're all in this series. We'll see Finnegan here tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see if they stay intact or how long they stay intact. It could be very well the rest of the season. Of course, Robert Stevenson is still to come. Homer Bailey is to return probably after the All-Star break. So there are still some pieces they put in place in terms of the starting rotation. Right at the drawn-in Cozart. And Castro is out. Worth stays put. Now the Reds will move back to normal defensive depth and try to get Marisnick. Here's what we're talking about. The acquisitions in the Johnny Cueto deal. John Lamb last night didn't quite get far enough into the game as they would hope, but still he pitched pretty well. Tied a career high with 8 strikeouts. Reed today. And then Brandon Finnegan gets the start tomorrow. Finnegan has been, for the most part, very consistent for this Reds team this year. Deep to right center field. Hamilton on the run. Hamilton dove, and did he catch that ball? He sure did.
Unbelievable.
Billy Hamilton, a long sprint for that ball. How he caught that, I'm not sure. Neither is Marisnick. But he did, and that ends the bottom of the second, and certainly worth another look.